Over the past several years, I've been very fortunate to be able to shoot a lot of guns. I kind of have a saying, I rarely shoot the same gun twice. I'm always shooting a new gun almost every time I go out to shoot. And over those years, there's definitely been 5 handguns that are just awful handguns. These are guns that are, some of them, very popular. As a matter of fact, I'm sure a few of them you're going to say, oh, what are you talking about? That's a great handgun. I'm just basing it on my experience. 4 of these 5s are jam-o-matics. I couldn't even get 3 rounds through most of them without having major failures. Time and time again, clean them, oil them, take them back in. They're just terrible. And one of them just has a terrible history. So here's the top 5 handguns you should never buy. Number 1, the Walther PPK and 22LR. Now I'm specifically talking about the new one coming out of Germany, because there's 2 new Walther PPKs. There's the 22LR coming out of Germany, and there's a 380 coming out of America. The 380 is amazing, fantastic handgun, maybe the best Walther PPK ever. But the 22LR being produced by Walther is terrible. I had so many high hopes for this handgun. I couldn't wait till it came out. I was going to carry the heck out of this handgun. I never successfully got through a magazine without having major failures. So I definitely recommend stay away from the 22LR Walther PPK. Number 2, the Sig P320. Now this handgun, my personal experience, was always fantastic. But once they had the drop issue, I just didn't feel safe carrying it, just being honest. I'm a human. Sometimes I drop things. A lot of people say, well, just don't drop your gun. Okay, I hear you, but as a science teacher, I always had a saying, if a human does it, there is going to be errors. Now, Sig fixed it, yet police officers all around this country have lawsuits by the dozens against Sig Sauer because their guns are just going off in the holster, not even being dropped, just simply going off in the holster. So stay away from the P320s. Now what I will say is the new military's M17s who have the thumb safety, that gun I would be interested in, but all other P320s I would never buy. Number 3, the Ruger LCP2 and 22LR. Big fan of the Ruger LCP2 and 380, kind of like the Walther. But the 22LR is just awful. This was really the concealed carry gun I was most looking forward to over the last few years. So tiny, smaller than a deck of cards, 10+1 rounds of 22LR. I had a couple magazines with it, but it just is a jam-o-matic. It just jam. Just kept jamming. Of course, I'm not going to carry a gun that jams. Now, I did some things to it, tried some different oils, and every now and then I'd get it to function properly. But then it just go back to its old self, jam. Just Ruger LCP2 and 22LR is terrible concealed carry gun. Definitely never buy one. Number 4, the Fight Light Raider pistol. In my opinion, this was the coolest rifle style pistol being made, period. Loved the idea of it. But it has a hinged bolt carrier group to be able to get down into that bird's head grip. Instead of going straight back through a tube, it goes down into the bird's head grip. Neat idea, but this gun malfunctioned so bad that it was impossible to fix in the field. You needed tools just putting one magazine through it. It was so destroyed after a single magazine. And I tried several different things, just awful. I love the idea of it, and strangely I shot one at SHOT Show when they first came out and it ran flawlessly. But the one I had was garbage. Highly recommend you never buy the Fight Light Raider pistol. And finally, number 5, the Sig Sauer P938, and I'm going to kind of give a specification on that. The first 4 years of production of the Sig P938, and there's a lot of them out there. It's very important you understand what years your P938s are, because when they first started producing them, keep in mind this is a micro 1911 9mm. but they were using 380 feed ramps for the first 4 years, which caused major failures. I went out and went ahead and just thought, you know, I really want this gun. I'm going to drop plus $700 on this gun. Worst gun, just terrible. Up until that point, that was the worst gun I had owned, and then I fired all these other on the list after that. But up until that point, that was the worst gun I had ever owned. Again, after the 4 years had gone by, they made a 9mm feed ramp. But if you get those first few years, and it's hard to tell, that you definitely can't tell the difference by looking at them. So it's very important, if you're going to go out and buy a used Sig P938, that you make sure it is a newer version. So there you go. There's the top 5 concealed carry handguns I highly recommend you never buy. I'm sure there's a bunch of them on this list I didn't mention. Put it in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.